Good morning. This is George Kahn, and this is today's Quiet Echo. The television in my deli is bolted to a bracket up in the corner, above the slicer. Most days, nobody looks at it. It runs the news with the sound turned off. People glance up at the weather and go back to their sandwiches. But Thursday afternoon, it is not going to be the news up there. It is going to be soccer. And I have a feeling the room is going to change. The World Cup starts Thursday. You have heard it is the biggest one ever. And it is. 48 nations this time, more countries than have ever played in it, spread across this country and Canada and Mexico for 39 days. The first match is down in Mexico City. The final is up in New Jersey, in July. None of it is coming to Cedar Valley. The coverage you are going to get is about the stadiums, the big crowds, the money changing hands in the host cities. I am not standing in any of those rooms. I am standing behind a counter in a small town. So let me tell you what the World Cup looks like from here. 4 years ago, I had a game on during the slow hour before lunch. Maybe 6 or 7 people in the place, and not one of them there together. A man scored from a long way out, a player from a country I had to go look up afterward, and every single person in my deli came up off the stools at the same time. The fellow who builds houses, the nurse from the clinic, a trucker passing through I had never seen before and never saw again. All of them on their feet, all of them shouting, all of them looking around at one another like they had just watched the same thing happen, because they had. I never did learn the name of the man who scored. Neither did they. Then they sat back down, a little embarrassed, and finished their lunch. But for 1 second, the whole room had been one single thing. I have thought about it a lot since. I could not tell you the final score. I could not tell you who won the whole tournament. But I remember the sound those people made, all at once. And I remember how quiet it went right afterward, like they had surprised themselves. I have a regular who told me last week he has no use for any of it. He said soccer is not our game. He said he does not see why the whole world has to come here to play it. He has walked into my place most mornings for 20 years. I have learned not to argue with a man across a counter. I just told him to come watch the first one anyway. He grumbled at me. But he will be there Thursday. I have seen this before. The fellow who grumbles the loudest walking in is the same fellow up on his feet hollering when the ball finally goes in. My father came to this country from far away, and he opened a counter a lot like mine. He used to tell me the fastest way to learn a town is to feed it. I have been feeding this one for 31 years. I have watched it argue about every single thing a country can find to argue about. I have watched good neighbors quit speaking to each other about politics, about money, about a fence line between 2 yards. And I have watched those very same people who will not agree on the weather rise up off their stools together because a stranger from the other side of the world put a ball into a net. I have never once been able to guess ahead of time who it would reach. It reaches all of them. This is not my first World Cup behind this counter. I have stood right here for 8 of them. Different teams, different summers, the same thing happening in the room every single time. It is the one stretch of the year I can count on for it. There is going to be a kid in here this month wearing the jersey of a country he has never set foot in. A country he could not find on a map. He picked it because he liked the colors. Let him. It is as good a reason as any to love something. So here is what I have come to believe. After all these years behind the counter, the stadiums are not the point. Most of us will never sit in one. The rooms are the point. The break room with the radio going. The garage with the door rolled up. The front porch. The kitchen table. The counter with the bad television nobody usually watches. For a few weeks this summer, the whole world is going to be invited into small rooms like mine. And a country which cannot agree on one single thing is going to lean the same direction at the same moment and hold its breath together. We do not get many moments like it anymore. We are not going to have a stadium here in Cedar Valley. We never will. What we are going to have is a screen in the corner and a room full of people who do not always have a whole lot to say to one another. Thursday afternoon, when they kick it off down in Mexico City, the sound is going to come up and this town is going to start gathering underneath it. And you know something? It is enough. It always has been. So I will tell you what I told my grumbling regular. Do not watch the first one by yourself at home. Find the room with the screen and the strangers in it. Pull up a stool. Pick a country, any country, and cheer for it right out loud. Then see who comes up off the stool beside you. Cedar Valley News has a group on Facebook. If you have something to add, you are welcome there. Tell us which match you will be watching and who you will be cheering for. I will put the link in the show notes. This is George Kahn, your host for today's Quiet Echo. Thanks for listening. Quiet Echo is part of the fictional Cedar Valley news series, written by Evan Swenson, publisher, and Claude Marshall, AI developmental editor. While the people in town of Cedar Valley are fictional, the World Cup and the tournament described in this episode are real.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open. This is Cedar Valley News.